some time ago we realised that the staff needed to be developed, or their skills needed to be developed in the unit. I realised that the staff were lacking in confidence in various scenarios. For example, on a footing with their colleagues. So, for example, they saw the doctors as being more powerful than they were. They sort of saw it as what they said was all good, and that they didn't have the, I think, skills really to challenge what doctors were saying. In this unit, the patients are all over 65. Okay. And the staff in the main are all from other parts of the world and not from England. And in the main, the nurses are all from Africa. So there was the client group, or the age group of the patients, means that they have very little understanding of where the nurses are coming from. And sometimes the nurses have little understanding of where this age group have come from. Now, I myself have witnessed nurses having to accept racial abuse from patients. And sometimes it's covert racial abuse. Sometimes they're quite open about it. Yeah, some was practical, and some of it gave the staff the opportunity to bring it out into the open and discuss it openly. In some of the sessions that LOPA had with the nurses, this was something that they discussed openly at that stage. But really, we never had a forum before where the nurses were openly discussing issues of race. I suppose in a way it was something that was difficult for them to discuss. And I can't remember how LOPA managed to bring it into the conversations even. I think the nurses felt open enough to discuss these issues. And it was her abilities and skills, I think, that brought it out into the open, which was quite good. And I mean, any of the forums that she actually sat in with the nurses, with all of us, I think it enabled the nurses to bring any issues out at all easier than, we'll say, me as the manager facilitating the group. There was another issue that I remember vividly, is when herself and another psychologist did some role play about relational responsibility. And that was about people taking responsibility for their own actions, like manager, nurse, and vice versa, and how that would work with using better skills than they previously had. She'd be asking stuff like circular questioning, and even with staff, like how would this impact on you, or how do they feel about this, and lots of different ways of questions that we didn't really use before that. Well, apart from the race issues, I noticed that the nurses are able to use some of these skills just talking to patients. Now, as regards the nurses working with patients, I think they've more confidence in looking at this age group, understanding that there's more to people than just the person who's presenting. And what are the various things that is influencing what's happening with the person themselves, whereas these issues may not have been addressed before. But the organisation, I think, needs to take it on board on how it can deal with racial abuse that's happening every single day of the week on wards, really. I think it has made it easier, and I think, but it's going to take time, I think, more time, just to give them more confidence. I think in a way it's brought us together more as a team, to be honest. And people are really quite pleased that they can talk about issues, any issues almost, any issues at all, really. I think it brings people together better as a team. There are very few places, apparently, that you can talk about these issues. I'm told by other teams in the areas that it just isn't issues that people discuss. So it can only raise the morale of the staff. And I think it's quite high myself, even though I haven't, that's only an anecdotal, I haven't done any audits or whatever, but I think, and from an anecdotal point of view, I think the morale is quite high. Because some things you cannot change, but it's good for nurses at least to understand that we can raise it as an issue.